On December 2nd, 2015, two individuals entered a party in San Bernardino, California. Initially, they appeared to be ordinary partygoers, but then they drew their weapons and opened fire on the crowd. Tragically, they killed 14 people and left 21 others seriously wounded. Following a 4-hour-long standoff with police, the perpetrators were eventually killed. The FBI obtained a mobile phone that belonged to one of the criminals named Rizwan Farouk. The phone in question was an iPhone 5C. However, the FBI faced an unexpected challenge. They couldn't unlock the device. So they turned to the courts, seeking a ruling that would compel Apple to assist in unlocking the phone. Surprisingly, Apple declined the court's request, refusing to unlock the device. This refusal led to a strong backlash against Apple. How could a mobile phone company refuse to assist the FBI or the court in a case involving a criminal responsible for the deaths of 14 innocent people? This isn't a case involving a political prisoner with whom one can agree or disagree, nor does it concern someone who committed a minor offense. It involves a murderer. Apple is currently the largest company in the world, with a market value of $2.9 trillion. In 2022, Apple generated revenues of $394 billion. We are dealing with a massive company that possesses more wealth than the budgets of some entire country. A company that can confidently tell one of the United States' most important agencies, the FBI, "I will not comply with your demands, even if you have a judicial ruling."
You are watching Brand Impact, untold stories of wealth and business.
Holiness occurs when there is spiritual reverence for a heroic figure, and in this case, that hero is Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs became an icon of the creative economy due to what he was able to achieve in his time, particularly with the release of one of his most successful products known to mankind, the iPhone. During the 10 years in which Jobs led Apple, from 2001 to 2011, the most significant qualitative leap in the history of business took place. The most successful products lineup in history, known as the iProducts, was launched during these years: the iPhone, iPod, iPad, and iTunes. Each year at the Worldwide Developers Conference, or WWDC, Jobs astounded the globe with products that changed the world. The iPod was released in late 2001, following the burst of the dot-com bubble, which had caused an economic crisis in the technology and internet sectors. It also came after the tragic events of September 11th, when the world witnessed the United States in a state of horror. The release of the iPod was a significant event amidst these fateful crises. Jobs leveraged his connections with musical artists to gain an advantage in the battle against electronic piracy. During that period, a service named Napster exerted a profound influence on the global music industry, posing formidable challenges for music production companies as users were freely downloading music. Steve Jobs introduced a pragmatic solution to this issue through iTunes, a platform that has since evolved into Apple Music. This strategic maneuver not only addressed piracy, but also paved the way for the emergence of the groundbreaking iPhone. In 2011, Steve Jobs passed away, leaving behind a remarkable decade of creativity. One might wonder what Apple may have achieved if Steve Jobs had lived longer. No one knows for certain, but what we do know is that Steve Jobs was unlike any other company leader. He encouraged creative thinking and fostered innovation. He was capable of creating wonderful products. However, it's hard to predict what problems he might have caused if he had continued for any longer. Steve Jobs was not an angel. He was a disruptive force within the company. He could be demanding and displayed traits of arrogance, stubbornness, and paranoia. While it's true that his death marked the end of an era of creativity at Apple under his leadership, the company is now thriving under the management of Tim Cook. Apple is focused on growth and expanding its product lineup, not solely relying on its past successes. They continue to thrive with innovation. Scott Galloway states in his book, The Four, that the strategy employed by Steve Jobs to transform Apple into what it is today originates from the luxury industry. Apple decided to adopt a scarcity strategy in the market to maximize its profits. In 2016, Apple held a 14% share of the mobile phone market, whereas Samsung held a 20% market share. However, Apple managed to capture 80% of the profits, while Samsung, despite having the largest market share, only secured 14% of the profits. A luxury brand doesn't rely on a pragmatic sales pitch that tells you to buy its product solely for its specific qualities. Instead, these products sell you a dream, a sense of elevated status that you'll experience while owning them. They offer more than just tangible usefulness. For instance, Louis Vuitton doesn't merely sell beautiful clothes. Maybach isn't a car that just gets you from one place to another. When you buy Patek Philippe watches, it's not just to tell the time. In Scott's opinion, Apple succeeded in establishing itself as a luxury brand. It shifted people from merely using a mobile phone to make calls to proudly displaying the Apple logo in their photos. During the 80s, Apple primarily appealed to the intellect, offering quality products to those in need of a computer. However, as time passed, devices powered by Microsoft and Intel chips emerged, boasting greater speed, power, and affordability, which captured the market's attention. Software programs like Word and Excel gained widespread popularity. According to Scott's perspective, Apple decided to broaden its appeal beyond the intellectual realm and focus on capturing the hearts of consumers. In pursuit of this goal, Apple introduced the Macintosh in 1984. This new computer featured modern and visually appealing icons, a distinctive design, and a friendly greeting with the word hello upon startup. Additionally, it came bundled with Adobe products such as Photoshop, After Effects, and Premiere, essential tools for creative work. Now you have a device that serves a purpose and fulfills the desire for excellence. Scott emphasizes that this wasn't sufficient for Apple to attract customers and build the brand. You need a product that looks sexy and attractive, a product that becomes an icon, and that's precisely what happened with the iPod. The iPod wasn't only a technological revolution, it featured a 5GB storage capacity. While this may seem like a modest number by today's standards, it was a game changer compared to the competition, such as Toshiba devices with only 128 megabytes of space. The iPod boasted an elegant design and served as a personal music library, a compact device that could easily fit in your pocket. By owning this device, you obtained a classy and special image. The iPod was among the tools that elevated one's status, unlike the bulky Macintosh desktop computer that sat on a desk. With this product, Apple transformed into a luxury brand rather than merely a tech company. Forbes magazine reported, citing Nikkei Asia magazine, that the components of the iPhone 14 Pro Max cost Apple $501, and the pricing for the smartphone starts at $1,099. That's because you're not buying a mobile phone. You're buying admiration and respect, social status, class privileges, and a story. One of the things that make you think of Apple as a luxury brand and not just a technology company is its beautiful stores. In 1999, Jobs decided to open a store for Apple, contrary to the advice he was given. At that time, it was the beginning of the internet era, and everyone thought that Jobs was making a very foolish move because everyone was opening online stores. E-commerce was seen as the future, with companies like Amazon and eBay leading the way. However, Jobs chose to go in a different direction, opting for traditional brick-and-mortar stores. This decision subjected him to criticism from both inside and outside the company. These stores revolutionized the brand. While the iPhone raised the company's share price, the stores elevated the brand's prestige, ultimately boosting the profit margin. If you travel to Paris or New York, you'll see Louis Vuitton, Hermès, Cartier, and the Apple Store. What Jobs had in mind was to open Apple stores in places alongside luxury brands to enhance the value of Apple and its products. In his perspective, Apple wasn't just a company that enhanced people's lives. It was a company that offered a beautiful story and sold this story at a significant profit. Jobs knew that the brand's story could be sanctified, turning the founder into a spiritual leader and the store into a temple for the brand. Besides having unique and beautiful designs, these stores allow you to visit, interact with devices, and take pictures, all of which contribute to selling the brand and support Apple's distribution and branding efforts. The iPhone was released in 2007 and had a significant impact on Nokia and Motorola. Nokia was enjoying its heyday, representing 30% of the Finnish economy and contributing approximately 25% of Finland's taxes. Apple faced the challenge of competing with Nokia and reaching its position, but Apple won and succeeded by opening more than 500 stores around the world, strategically located on the best streets worldwide. Any sacred commodity needs a beautiful story and an epic hero to become a legend, and it needs a unique place to be a temple that preserves the story, repeating it to increase its sanctity. There is no room for discussion about it, and this is what Apple did. It has Steve Jobs, the commando hero with a beautiful story of ups and downs, a cinematic plot that does not end with an ordinary conclusion at all. This is an epic story of excellence. Apple has more than 500 stores around the world, spreading Jobs' message. All of this has resulted in a product that holds value far beyond its practical benefits. A product that makes you feel like a part of a special community, akin to a cult. Its logo positions you within a particular class, even if you aren't originally from it. But it's enough to instill a sense of belonging. This value has led Apple to having the highest customer loyalty among companies, with 78% of iPhone owners choosing to stick with an iPhone for their next purchase. In comparison, Samsung has a loyalty rate of 58%, despite the iPhone being more expensive and not including headphones or a charger. According to Tim Cook, in 2019, there were 900 million iPhones in use. This is why we believe that the story behind the iPhone plays a significant role in its value. For example, consider an NBA jersey that was sold for $5.8 million, making it the second most valuable jersey ever. The actual cost of manufacturing this jersey doesn't exceed $50, but its value is driven by the story behind it. This jersey belonged to Kobe Bryant, who wore it during his first year in the NBA. Its high value is attributed to his incredible performances on the court and his remarkable personality, culminating in his tragic death in 2020 at the young age of 41, shortly after his retirement. Instead of being washed, the jersey was auctioned, showcasing how a story can significantly increase the value and price of an item. When you purchase a Tesla, you're not just buying an electric vehicle, you're investing in Elon Musk's story. When you buy an iPhone, you're purchasing a story of creativity, perseverance, beauty, and protection. For this reason, Apple was willing to confront the US government itself and refuse to unlock the phone of one of its customers, regardless of their criminal status. Doing so could have jeopardized the integrity of its story. Without a story, there is no product. And without a product, there is no revenue for the company and no story for us to tell. We hope you enjoyed today's story. If you did, please give us a thumbs up so we can reach more amazing friends like you. Until next time, take care.